Tony didn't shout. He didn't lift a hand. He just looked Amanda in the face one quiet Saturday morning and said, "I don't love you anymore. Pack your things and leave. I'm in love with someone else." That was it. No warning, no fight, no room to even ask why. Amanda stood frozen, holding a bowl of soaked beans she was preparing for Sunday's meal. Her fingers trembled. Her heart started racing. But she didn't say a word. She didn't scream or beg. She wiped her hands, walked into the bedroom they once decorated together, and began folding her clothes. The silence that followed was heavier than thunder. How it all started. Tony and Amanda met during their university years. She was studying nursing. He was chasing a business degree with big dreams and an empty pocket. Amanda believed in him. She cooked for him, borrowed money to support his rent, and even typed out his final project while managing her clinical hours. They got married 2 years after school. Amanda paused her nursing career when their first baby came. Then she paused it again to help Tony stabilize his business. She gave up job offers, sleep, and even her own hobbies just to keep the house warm and his path clear. But the moment Tony's business started bringing money, he started changing. He stopped asking how her day went, stopped noticing when she wore something new. He answered late-night calls with a smirk, whispering into the phone, "I'll call you later." When Amanda asked who it was, he'd say, "Work. You won't understand." He stayed out late more often, smelling of women's perfume. He became colder, more distracted. He started comparing her to other women, women who had things going on for them, as if being the backbone of their home meant nothing. And then came that morning, the morning he told her to leave. Amanda didn't have savings. She didn't even have a place to go. All she had was one black Ghana must-go bag, her 2 children, and a half-empty purse. She didn't cry in front of Tony. She didn't shout. She just packed what she could carry, strapped her baby on her back, held her little boy by the hand, and walked out of the gate. She didn't look back. She called a friend, Tola, someone she hadn't spoken to much in recent times. Amanda almost didn't dial. Shame wanted to hold her back, but her children were hungry, and she had nowhere else to sleep. When Tola heard her voice on the phone, she didn't ask questions. She just said, "Come to my place. Don't worry." Amanda got there with tired eyes and sore feet. She collapsed on a small couch with her children and didn't say a word for a full hour. Tola gave her water, then gave her rice and stew. Amanda fed the kids first. Later that night, as they sat outside under the moonlight, Tola finally asked, "What happened?" Amanda stared at the sky for a moment, then whispered, "He told me to go." Just like that. Tola held her hand. "Then it's time you go somewhere better." Amanda didn't sleep much that night, not because she was worried, but because her mind was planning. She had once paused her dreams for marriage, but now she had no husband, no house, and no more reason to pause. Tomorrow, she would start again. She didn't know how, but she would, because this time she was working for herself. The next morning, Amanda stood in front of the mirror in Tola's bathroom. Her eyes were tired, her face pale, but her heart was steady. But for the first time in a long time, she had a plan. She took her dusty nursing school certificate and went out that morning with her children. Tola had helped her update her CV the night before. Amanda carried the paper in a nylon bag like it was gold. She walked from one private clinic to another, dropping her CV, explaining herself, trying not to sound too desperate. Some people said, "We'll get back to you." Others didn't even let her finish her sentence. By 4 p.m., she was sweaty, hungry, and her legs felt like jelly, but she didn't stop. When she returned to Tola's apartment, she was smiling faintly. I tried, she said. Tola hugged her. That's how everything starts. The next week, one clinic called, a small private health center at the edge of the city. The pay was low, the hours were hard, but Amanda took it immediately. She worked like her life depended on it. Because it did. She treated every patient with care. She showed up early. She left late. And little by little, people noticed. One of the doctors even told her, "You're good. Keep doing what you're doing." She smiled, not because she was there yet, but because for the first time in a long time, she was moving. Not for a man, not for anyone else, but for herself. Amanda didn't chase attention. She didn't post her struggles online. She just kept showing up every single day. Her uniform was always clean. Her face was calm. Her hands were steady. Patients started asking for her by name. Mothers brought their sick babies and said, "Please let Nurse Amanda check her." One day, the clinic director passed by and saw her teaching a young intern how to insert a drip. He stopped and watched for a moment. Then he said, "You should be doing more than this." Amanda blinked. "Sir," he smiled, "we're recommending you for a training program. It's sponsored. You deserve it." By the next month, she was attending a weekend course in professional health management. Her name appeared in the clinic's bulletin. Her face, though tired, started to glow. Tola would often say, "Amanda, you're changing. I hope you see it." Amanda always replied, "Not yet, but I feel it." Meanwhile, somewhere in the city, Tony scrolled through Facebook and saw a shared post from someone he didn't know. "Shout out to Nurse Amanda at Hope Medical. God bless you." His eyes froze. He checked the comments. People were praising her, saying she was one of the kindest nurses they had ever met. His stomach turned. That night, Tony sat in his living room alone. The new girl he had been seeing was out partying. She hadn't called to check on him. She barely cooked. She didn't clean. She wasn't Amanda, not even close. For the first time since Amanda left, he felt the difference. But it was too late. Amanda wasn't just rising. She was already far above where he left her. Tony didn't believe in karma, but maybe he should have. His new girlfriend, the one he started seeing while Amanda was still folding his clothes, wasn't what he expected. She didn't do anything in the house to help Tony. She didn't ask him how his day went, but she did ask for things: wigs, clothes, money for her sister's birthday, new phone, cash for her hair, spa appointments, club outings. Every week it was something. Tony started dipping into his business account to keep up. He thought it was just a phase, that she would settle down soon. But the more he gave, the more she demanded. When he tried to say no, she'd sulk or disappear for 2 days, then come back and smile like nothing happened. He didn't realize how distracted he had become. He was missing meetings, answering calls late, losing clients. He was too busy chasing attention to focus on the business he once built with discipline. Within months, his income dropped. People stopped calling for contracts. The business line was quiet. He blamed everything, the economy, the market, but deep down, he knew. He had traded gold for glitter. Then one day, he saw Amanda again, not in person, on a billboard outside a pharmacy. She was smiling in her white uniform with a stethoscope around her neck. The poster read, "Compassion, care, commitment. Meet Nurse Amanda at Hope Medical." Tony's heart sank. She looked radiant, confident, unbothered. He reached for his phone and scrolled through old messages. No number. She had blocked him. Amanda wasn't suffering. She was shining, and he was standing in the same place where he left her. Only now, she was too far to reach. Amanda was just getting home after a long shift when a neighbor called from across the compound. "Auntie Nurse, someone dropped this paper for you." It was a small envelope, neat, with a hospital's logo at the top corner. She opened it inside, still standing. "Invitation for interview, senior nursing officer." It came from one of the biggest private hospitals in the city. She didn't smile. She just stood still, holding it with both hands. A part of her wanted to scream with joy, but she just whispered, "Thank you, God." Then she folded the letter, placed it beside her pillow, and began preparing dinner. Later that night, as her children slept and she finally sat down to rest, her phone rang. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer, but curiosity won. "Hello?" There was silence. Then a voice she hadn't heard in months. "Amanda." She knew that voice too well. "I've been thinking," Tony said. "I know I hurt you. I don't know how to fix everything, but maybe we can meet, just sit and talk." Amanda held the phone to her ear for a moment. Her voice stayed calm. "Tony," she said quietly, "what are we going to talk about? Why you threw me out? Or how I survived without you?" He sighed. "Look, I don't know. I want to see you. I miss what we had." Amanda took a breath. Her eyes didn't blink. "You miss comfort, not me." He went quiet. She added, "You taught me how to stand without you. I've learned that lesson now. I won't return to what broke me." "Amanda, please. I wish you well, but I've moved on." She ended the call. Not in anger, not in pride, just peace. That night, Amanda sat beside her window, watching the sky. She didn't cry. She didn't feel sorry. She felt whole. Amanda stood outside the tall glass hospital building, with her file pressed to her chest. She wore a simple, neatly ironed black skirt and a cream-colored blouse tucked in. Her shoes were closed-toe and clean. Her braids were pulled into a tidy bun. No makeup, just her clean, confident face. Her palms were a little sweaty, but her heart, it was steady. This wasn't just an interview. This was a moment she once prayed for, while crying into a pillow at Tola's house. She took a deep breath and walked in. The hospital lobby smelled of antiseptic and lemon air freshener. The chairs were shiny. Nurses moved quickly but quietly. She waited, holding her CV, her certificate, and the letter they sent her. When she was called in, 3 people sat across from her. They asked about her experience, her training, how she handled emergencies. She didn't speak like someone who read the answers from a book. She spoke like someone who had lived them. When one of them asked, "What keeps you going when things get hard?" Amanda paused. Then she smiled softly and said, "The people who depend on me and the version of myself I never want to lose again." They all nodded. By the time she stepped out, she didn't know if she'd gotten the job, but she knew she had left something behind in that room. Her story. A week later, the call came. She got the job. It came with better pay, better hours, and housing allowance. She hugged her children and Tola in one breath. She cried that night, not from sadness, but from pride. She moved into her own place the next month, a modest 2-bedroom flat. The kids had their own space. She hung a wall frame above her bed that read, "I'm still standing." She paid her rent in full. She bought groceries without fear. She cooked her first dinner in her own kitchen, humming softly, something she hadn't done in years. Tony found out all this from his cousin again. He didn't laugh this time. Rather, he felt hurt. His business was still shaky. The girl he left Amanda for was gone. His house was quiet. He scrolled through old pictures and stared at one of Amanda holding their child in the kitchen, smiling tiredly. He tried to call again. She didn't pick, and he knew why. She wasn't angry. She wasn't punishing him. She was done. Moral of the story: never look down on someone who's helping you build, because when they rise, you may no longer be part of the view. If Amanda's journey moved you, please like, subscribe, and share. There's someone out there thinking they'll crumble without a person. But Amanda is proof. You rise when you choose yourself. The end.